So I use the metro, the Magenta line, to come to Delhi Airport Terminal 1 because I'm flying to Prayagraj today. No cab, just metro instead. And flying SpiceJet, not my favorite airline in India. But it's very convenient taking the metro to Terminal 1 because I live on this line. It's taken me 15 minutes, got a train immediately, and cost me 27 rupees, 30 rupees because minus 10% because I have a metro card. So let's get checked in and get to the airport. A small correction, it wasn't 27 rupees, it was 32 rupees because it's 40 rupees minus 20% because it's right now non-peak hour because I got into the metro before 5 o'clock. 5 to 8 is peak time in the metro. But I plan to take the metro back as well. Don't have too much luggage. And why am I going to Prayagraj? Well, it's a new airport for me. It's a Mahakumbh. And right now Prayagraj is among India's top 10 busy airports. 120 to 140 movements daily. For an airport that usually just sees 10 movements a day. So it'll be fun to get to Prayagraj. I want to see how they go. It's a bit of a hoof from here to the terminal. Let's see where the gate is to how far I have to walk. Well, so there was a gate that's actually built into the arrival section. Now to see if there's a lift that takes me up to departures. Bit of a hoof, but okay. Since spares me my evening walk then. Let's see how I get upstairs over here. Last time it was quite a walk to get upstairs. At the terminal, first time I'm at the SpiceJet area of Terminal 1D. Ground floor area itself. There's a check-in counter for SpiceJet here itself. And yeah, we have automated check-in or whatever it is. Let's get to SpiceJet's check-in. While I had arrived 2 hours in advance of my flight, I really didn't know how long the metro would take. When I was checking in, I discovered that my flight to Prayagraj was delayed by a further hour. I therefore decided to go spend some time at the Encom Lounge at Terminal 1D. Now, Terminal 1D is a low-cost terminal right now. Only Indigo and SpiceJet operate from here. So the lounge is through credit card access only. What you can see here is not the lounge. This is the waiting area downstairs at the bus gates at Terminal 1D, where my flight to Prayagraj was operating from. After some time, boarding was called. It was almost 8 o'clock by now, and we took a bus on our way to the aircraft, a Bombardier Q400 operated by SpiceJet. This 6.5-year-old aircraft, Victor Tango Sierra Quebec Alpha, had been delivered to SpiceJet back in 2018 and was named Lal Mirch, which is red chili in Hindi. It was a long time since I had last flown a Bombardier Q400, which is only actually operated by SpiceJet in India. No other airline currently operates these aircraft. And it was soon time to board, and I was the first person on board. Now, one of my problems with SpiceJet, and I constantly complain about this, is I don't think they really take care of the interiors. This aircraft was only 6.5 years old and it looked really worn. Just look at the wear and tear on the seat pockets, the seats. The floors were dirty. It really could use some TLC on the aircraft. The seat belts felt frayed. Just everything on the plane looked old. Now, I have flown on Indigo and Air India aircraft that are 15-year-old plus, and they don't feel old inside. I really think SpiceJet can take better care of their aircraft. Anyway, boarding took some time. There were people on wheelchairs. The flight was absolutely rammed. And thanks to the narrow aisle of the Q400 and limited overhead space, where people were trying to really put big suitcases on board, boarding took quite long. But it was soon time to push back, and we were on our way to the threshold of runway 9. Incidentally, on our way to the threshold, we passed a lot of parked aircraft. Last time, and you can see in an earlier video, I had passed many SpiceJet Q400s parked over here. You can see a couple of them in the shadows over there that are still parked, but it was now mainly the former Zoom Air's CRJ 200 aircraft that were parked. Anyhow, now here the turboprops roar to life and us taking off on runway 9 with a clear view of South Delhi underneath us. It was a fairly uneventful flight, to be very honest. Now, let me explain a little bit about the Mahakumbh. The Mahakumbh is apparently a once in a 144-year Kumbh Mela. The Kumbh Mela itself takes place once every 12 years when the planets are aligned. It's a major Hindu festival that occurs in Prayagraj. That is the point where the Ganga and Yumuna rivers meet, and in legend also the Saraswati river. Now you are supposed to go there and take a dip at the point where the rivers meet, that is the Sangam, and your sins apparently get washed away. Now, I have nobody to question religion over here. I really wanted to go to the Kumbh Mela because I really wanted to take a dip. I know many people are questioning, oh my God, how can you take a dip in that water? But you know what? I really wanted to do this. There were stories of millions of people being at the Kumbh. Now, I'll show you some videos from the Kumbh later on, but I've really wanted to do this. Flights were really expensive, and thankfully, I was being hosted by the India Foundation that was organizing the Global Kumbh Summit on Sustainability and Development. We had got leaders from all over the world, diplomats and other thought leaders, and we spoke a lot about how religion can contribute to sustainability and development. I'll be doing a few more videos about that later on. But the Kumbh Mela this year was really well marketed, and because there are so many more flights than ever before for the Kumbh Mela from 12 years ago, there were tens of flights going to Prayagraj every day. The day I flew, which was the 20th of February, there were over 65 arrivals into Prayagraj. A few days later, before Mahashivratri, a major auspicious night in Hindu religion, which was the last day of the Kumbh Mela, there were a scheduled 83 commercial flights into Prayagraj, and this did not include flights by private airlines. This was absolutely incredible. You cannot explain the huge crowds and the huge demand. Now, this Bombardier Q400 was the smaller aircraft. Indigo is flying down A321 Neos. Air India is flying down A321s. Our Prayagraj Airport is quite small. It cannot handle a wide body, and I'll be talking about the departure experience later. But my God, at the point of time, Prayagraj was only behind Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata and Hyderabad. It was operating more flights than Jaipur and Lucknow. It was quite incredible. That's how many people who wanted to come to Prayagraj. Now enjoy the landing at Prayagraj Airport, IXD. Now, when you think of the fact that Prayagraj Airport, that handles only 5 to 6 flights a day, was handling between 60 and 80 flights a day, it was remarkable how they could keep up. Unfortunately, the Airports Authority could not finish the construction of the airport before the Mahakumbh, but they had done a great job. It really looked new, everything functioned. Now over here you can see the crowds at the Mahakumbh. This is near the Sangam point, as I said. The famous point where you really need to take a dip is called the Triveni Sangam of the three rivers, Ganga, Yumuna and Saraswati. I did go there, even though the video you see of me taking a dip happened elsewhere. When I went to the Sangam point, I didn't carry any devices or gadgets with me. It was just my little communion with God. But of course, this was a social media kumbh, and I did take a video of myself. Somebody took a video for me of myself taking a dip on the river slightly downstream near the tent where I stayed. On the whole, very good arrangements by the authorities to manage this huge mass of people. Those of you who are not from India really can't comprehend the number of people we have over here. When they're saying there were 660 million people who went to the Kumbh. Obviously, there's double counting, triple counting. People like me stayed for 3 days. Some people stayed for weeks on end. But the number of people was incredible. You know, when I went to the Triveni Sangam, I took a motorcycle I rented a motorcycle from someone, rode me there. It was an incredible experience. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it alone, though I don't want to subject my wife to this. My kid's far too young to take, but I'll take him the next time, 12 years time. Why not? I want to take him there. Arrangements were excellent. All due credit to the authorities for making great arrangements at the Kumbh. Good afternoon from Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, where the Hindu festival of the Mahakumbh has been happening. They claim some 500 million people have come here over the last 40 odd days, and I've never seen so many human beings at one place ever. It's been quite a sight, but more importantly, first time for me at Prayagraj Airport. It's time to get in and start. They're not letting people into the terminal until 3 hours before boarding time, and it is 3 hours before boarding time. Time to get inside the terminal and get to my SpiceJet flight back to Delhi. Hi there. So checked in, and now we are in the waiting area. The flight to Bangalore is boarding. I've still got about 3 hours before, or 2.5 hours before my flight boards. And yeah, well, there was nothing to do outside, so I might as well sit inside. There is some cold drinks available here. I don't know how much else. This area of the departure lounge is only for SpiceJet. I'm guessing the entire lounge was not ready. The entire terminal was not ready by the time the Kumbh was supposed to happen. You can see a blocked off area behind me there, where I'm assuming the escalators which will go to one giant sort of departure lounge. For now, this is just SpiceJet. So yeah, time to, there's just no parking here at Prayagraj. You can see a Indigo plane waiting over there. Let me just show you the outside. Hanging around the airport watching Netflix. About to board in a bit. The incoming flight has landed, so I assume we'll be taking off in a few, not taking off, at least boarding the aircraft in a few minutes. It's gotten dark, so won't be much of a view. Anyway, don't think I'll be on the riverside any which way. Now this flight was operated by a Boeing 737-800. This aircraft was 19 years old. It started life with Ryanair. That's why it had an 8AS designator. Then spent 3 years with Thai airline Nok Air before coming to SpiceJet, where it has been ever since. Again, SpiceJet aircraft look a bit, worn. Honestly, the window I had also was extremely scratched up. I thought the seats weren't in great condition. There's a reason I really don't like flying on SpiceJet. I have no problems taking any other airline. I really wish Akasa does well and gets to get their Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. While I know SpiceJet's promoter Ajay Singh is trying really hard to improve the airline, these small things like cleanliness on board an aircraft can be improved. That will leave a much better impression. Anyway, it was soon time to taxi to the runway. The runway at Prayagraj is aligned 12:30, and we took off in a westerly direction heading for Delhi. Enjoy the takeoff, and do remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so before. This was a unique flight. I really enjoyed going to the Kumbh Mela, and dare I say it, I didn't mind flying SpiceJet this time as well. I'd rather not fly SpiceJet on a route where I don't have any options, but because of the Kumbh Mela, flights to and from Prayagraj were very expensive. My host paid close to 40,000 rupees, that's almost $500 for these flights. Now keep in mind that Delhi to Prayagraj is only a 1-hour flight, so this was quite expensive, even though airfares in India have been jumping up of late. Thanks again, thank you for watching, and do remember to like this video, leave your comments down below. Did you go to the Kumbh? Did you fly down? Will you go to the next Kumbh at Prayagraj in 12 years time? Thank you so much again for watching this video.